Hey friends, so today we are going to learn how to layer iron on. So I'm going to walk you through how to layer iron on HTV heat transfer vinyl. It's all the same thing. It all means exactly the same thing. And so I'm just going to give you some tips and ideas about how to do that. And it's a little different today because we're actually doing a challenge. So I don't know how many people are participating in the challenge. Okay, so for this specific challenge, they shipped about 10 different colors. They shipped this bag, and it's like a little string bag. And I didn't think that I would use the bag. And I know my niece will, and I'm showing you into my crazy craft room in there. It's really messy in there right now, guys. So one day I'm gonna clean it up, like pretty clean it up, and then I'll show it to you. But this is all I can tolerate for you to see right now, this mess going on back here behind me. So anyway, we're gonna take the materials, we're gonna make a very, very cute bag for her. And the challenge, you know, was to do this, your TV show or your movie. And I just at the time felt like I didn't have anything. And then I get halfway through making this for her, which I still wanna do. But then I realized I do have a very favorite TV show, something that right now I am extremely excited about, and I wanna share this with you guys. So we're gonna make it onto a t-shirt at the end that I am gonna, you know, show you what this great show that I am watching. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into that craft room and let me see if I can hide some of my mess, and we will get busy. Okay, so here we are on the craft table, and these are the materials that I was provided for the challenge. So there's 12 different colors. I have several different easy weed colors, and I'm loving these Sizer Twinkle colors. These are gonna be really great. So when I looked through all of this and then trying to decide what I wanted to create, I think that it was just meant for me to create Winnie the Pooh, because I have two different, I have the sparkle, and then this one's called Buttercup, I believe, yes, Buttercup, and then this one is Lemon, and then I'm going to link all of these up below so you guys can, you know, see those as well. And then this is just red. I believe this is just, yeah, this is just red, so this will be his little shirt, and then I'm going to use this for his nose. And then when we get over to my t-shirt, because my t-shirt is a color, so my show has 3 different colors in it, and we're just going to use the black and white, and then, but you'll see, it's going to be really, really cool because their third color is really neat, and I didn't have it here in my color choices. Okay, so and then actually, you know what, I'm going to use this one as well. I'm going to use this one for my grass, and then we are going to use a fabric for the flowers, and I'm going to use a patterned color. Ooh, let me see if get this. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is the pattern that I'm going to use for my butterflies. Isn't that sweet? That's going to be really fun. Okay, and so these were my fabrics. So my mom is an avid sewer, and so I went over to her house and sort of raided her fabric stash. And I actually think I settled on the purple, the polka dot purple to do the flowers in. But so many spring colors, and I thank you. You guys are going to see these pop up on a future video, because I'm loving, now that I have figured out how to do applique with my maker, I am wanting to do tons of little projects with it. Okay, so let's move everything out of the way and bring in our mat and get started. Okay, so here we are in Cricut Design Space, and what I've done is I've gone ahead and pulled in the images that I want to work with today. And so what I want to do is show you how we can manipulate those to be exactly what we want them to be. So I wanted to do Winnie the Pooh, and I wanted it to have lots of color. So if you look over into layers and you wanted to create this exact thing, you can see that I have a couple of different ones in here. So I have Pooh smelling, which is what he is right here. He did not have a butterfly with him. So I looked around for a butterfly, and I found this one sitting dog with butterfly. And it actually had a dog, and I deleted the dog because I just really wanted that butterfly. And then if you want to, you can, the butterfly actually had tons of detail and tons of little cuts, and I eliminated some of the cuts using the contour tool. So I can show you really quick. Using the contour tool, see, there was the dog, I took him off, and then it had a lot of cuts, and I just wanted some on the outer edges. So I manipulated that, and I will put the contour video up above. It's only like 2.5 minutes long. It's super simple, but it'll give you more detail about contour. And then I also thought when I did this, I could either center him or I could put something else fun, you know, on the backpack as well. And so what I chose is to look for flowers in the grass. And so it's actually called grass. So you see here the name of it is grass, so if you want to hop over and find that. When we were on the craft table, I showed you we're going to be using multiple colors of iron-on, and we're going to be using a patterned iron-on, and we're also going to be using fabric that I have bonded and bagged. So these little flowers right here, see them? These are what we're going to cut out as the fabric. And so this little backpack is going to have a ton of detail. It's going to be super fun. Okay, and so then the last thing that you want to do once you know what you're creating and you have your design in there is, for me personally, I like to go into shapes, and I just grabbed this square with rounded corners. It's a little bit like what our bag's going to be. My bag is, if you click on this, my bag is 16 by 17, and so you would just unlock it and make this one 16 by 17, and then you can go up into colors and change that to white or whatever your bag is, so that you can get a really good representation of what you're creating. And then once you have the size of that bag, then you can scale your design to fit it so that you know this is what it's going to look like when it's all said and done. Okay, so let's talk about layering iron-on. So with poo smelling, you can see that there are multiple cuts here, and I'm just going to turn on this his base, and so you can see that there is a basic cut, which is a shadow or an outline of him, and then you can see his body, his shirt, his little feet, and his nose. So you can cut out all of those, and then you can, layer each one on top of the other. And you just have to make sure that you do not layer, glitter cannot be on the bottom. There are certain textured iron-ons that cannot be on the bottom. Like, you literally have to put, every day on top of every day. Now, if you wanted to add glitter on top, you could do that. So if you wanted his body to be glitter, or if you wanted his shirt to be glitter, you could do that. The other thing is, though, is you could turn off this bottom layer. So you see how now he's more of a silhouette. And I personally prefer this way, because then I can use the tackiness of the iron-on to put all of the elements together and put them exactly where they need to be, but I do not have to iron on top of iron-on. I just don't love doing it. I've done it, and you have to be super careful because you can bubble things or heat things too much. And so this is the way that I prefer to do it. I prefer to strip it all away. Now, that said, you're probably like, I really wanted that outline around him. It's all personal preference. It's all personal preference. I think I am just going to go with this, and I may even, I could do two noses and maybe put some dark color behind his eye. So like what you could do is you could duplicate his little nose, and then you could put it behind his eye just to see if it's going to work. And then we will send that to the back. Arrange, send to back. Oh, and I got to turn this guy off. Let's hide him really quickly. See, so if you wanted his eye and his nose, see, I think that would work really well. So you have a very small element that is being, layered there, but you don't have to do the entire thing. I personally don't mind the eye not being there, but that is just an idea for you if you wanted to, do that. We can go ahead and hit make it, and you can see here, oh, isn't he cute? So then you got Winnie the Pooh, and then you got your flowers, and then we've got our blue butterfly, and then we have our little flowers here, and we have our Winnie the Pooh shirt. Now, the thing with iron-on, guys, everyone, you have to remember this. You have to mirror image every single one of these. If you do not mirror image these, then you're going to mess up the whole thing. And this is 7 different colors. Guys, we're doing a lot today. This is 7 different colors. So what I would suggest is just going mirror image on each and every one of them. And I know some of them you're like, well, there's not really any point because it's symmetrical, but I wouldn't take the risk. I would go ahead and mirror all of them. Okay, and then maybe even double check them. Mirror, mirror, mirror. Oops, see, missed one. My butterfly, I missed it. Okay, and then mirror. Okay, and so now remember that we have different types of materials for each one. So let's go ahead and hit continue. It's found our maker, and we are going to start with red. So for this one, we're going to do everyday iron-on. And for those of you that are new to this, so you can see it gives you the little caution there, make sure your mirror is turned on and that the material is shiny side down. Okay, so let's hop back over to the craft table. Okay, so let's start with our red, and we're just going to use our paper trimmer. Those that craft with me, you guys know I love using this for absolutely everything, not just paper, because it gives me a precise cut and I can leave as much on the roll as I need to. So what we're going to do is I am going to cut out 4x5 for Pooh's little red shirt, and then I'm actually going to put 2 colors on a mat. And I show you guys how to do that in a couple of videos, but specifically the 15 tips and tricks for Cricut crafters. So I'm going to put that video up above, but basically we're going to cut down on our back and forth time to the craft table by putting multiple colors on one mat. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut out our red, and then we'll cut out all of our colors and get everything cut. Okay, and so our last material, so we just want to get that off of the mat. And now we want to prep our fabric. So for our fabric, we're going to need heat and bond, and we're going to need our fabric. So let's get our cutting mat out and cut this up, and I will show you how this works. Okay, so for our little flowers, we only need a little bit of fabric. So we are going to do 5.5 inches by 2 inches, but I want the fabric to be slightly larger than the heat and bond, and we've got the salvage here that we want to, we won't be using that salvage. So I'm just going to cut it slightly larger, and the nice thing is this is my cutting mat, and it has this wonderful grid on it, so we're going to be able to easily cut what we need. So we want 5.5, so I'm going to go a little longer, because we have a salvage, we have 6, and so I think what I'm going to do then is just, here we go. Okay, so now we're going to put this out of the way, and what we want to do next is we want to put heat and bond onto our fabric. So this is what this is heat and bond, and so we're just going to cut out a piece that's going to be slightly smaller on the inside because it's super tacky and you don't want to get this on your mats or anything like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some heat and bond. Okay, and we can once again use our mat, and if you can't remember, exactly your size or anything like that, just lay your piece of fabric on it. Again, we want to go slightly smaller, so I even have some over here on the corner, and so I'm going to then just trim it. Okay, so once we have our heat and bond and we have our fabric, what we want to do is we want to press this onto the fabric. So let's get out our easy press. You could also use an iron, of course. Okay, so if you read the instructions on heat and bond, it doesn't take very long for it to adhere, like 8 to 10 seconds, I believe. So what I would suggest is just put your fabric down on your easy press mat or your ironing board or whatever you're using, and then you're going to place this on it, and you want your paper side to be facing up. And so I just want to have a little bit of an edge, and then of course that's my salvage, which I won't be using at all. And okay, there we go. So we're going to give that a minute, and then we are going to put that on the green mat, and we are going to take that over to the maker. Now make sure, you know, as we're switching out different types of materials, so between the glitter and the everyday, and then now this, you want to make sure that you're choosing a different material type in Cricut Design Space for each of those, you know, different types of cuts. So this is going to be a bonded fabric. So if you go into fabrics, there's like 200 of them, but if you type cotton in, it's going to pop up with like 6 or 8 different choices, and you can choose bonded. Okay, so now we're going to place our material down on the mat. Okay, so here's a really important note. When you go over to your machine to select a bonded fabric, make sure that this is not mirror imaged. So when we were in Cricut Design Space and I was like, mirror image everything, and that is typically true, but when you're using fabric, we're not cutting this upside down, we're cutting it face up. And so what I want you to do is just leave these as normal. So like if you did mirror image them like I told you to begin with, we're going to undo that. Okay, so here we are on the maker, and so we're just going to insert our mat like we normally would. Now, when you're cutting bonded fabric, you can use the normal blade that comes with your maker. So that is just your fine point blade. You can use that, or if you have a rotary blade, which is designed for fabric, you can use the rotary blade. So we're just going to swap those out and cut. Okay, so here's our fabric on the mat, and the thing is we've bonded that fabric to the heat and bond, and so you can actually just kind of pick up your design off of the fabric and maybe snip away any little threads that, you know, didn't cut. See how cute that is? See how simple and easy that is? That is absolutely darling, and the little center pops out. And so those are going to go right on top of our iron on. How cute. So the next step is for us to weed everything out. And this Easy Weed truly lives up to its name. It was so simple to weed out. And so the last one that we're doing is the Sizer Glitter, or Twinkle, I think is what it's actually called. And so we're just weeding out Winnie the Pooh. Now the next step is for us to lay everything out on the bag. So I took my Easy Press and just pressed the bag so it would be good and flat. And then I started with my largest items. So I have my little Winnie the Pooh, and I have my flowers, and I used my clear acrylic ruler just to make sure that the bottom was shored up so that it was, you know, the same distance on either side of Winnie the Pooh and the flowers to the edge, and just making sure that their bottoms lined up. So once I did that, I just wanted to get a glimpse of kind of like what other things were going to look like. So his little nose and the butterfly. And I think this is great. I like it being lower so that when she cinches up the top of the bag, it won't mess up the design. Okay, so we're gonna do one layer at a time. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna move the little butterfly guy out of the way, and I just set his nose on top again just so that I could see. And so what we wanna do is we want to look at the Cricut guide, the heat guide, to make sure that we're using the right heat and pressure and time for this glitter and then for the everyday. Okay, so our glitter is 330 degrees for 30 seconds, and our everyday is 15 degrees cooler, so it's 315. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do the glitter because this is the only glitter I have, and then I'm going to reduce the heat on the heat press and then do all of the other ones. So what we want to do is go ahead and get everything set that on top, and I'm just going to do his head first, and then I'm going to go and do his body. I think I could possibly cover it with the Cricut with this size, but I'm not quite sure. It might, you know, not quite cover his feet, and so I think it's best if I just do them separate. And once I do both of these pieces of glitter, I'm going to flip it over and do it for 15 seconds on the back side. Okay, so now I just want to pick that up, and I'm going to reduce the heat to 315, and we'll set that back on the cradle and let the heat go down, and then we will do our flowers. Okay, so now that our heat press has cooled down, we're just going to put it over top of the flowers, and we're going to do 30 seconds there. And then once this has completed, we're going to flip it over. Okay, so now we just want to flip it back over and we're going to allow it to cool a little bit, and then we are going to take off both of these layers so that we can start layering on the next designs. I'm a little impatient, so I tend to fan my design so it cools off a little bit faster. And then we always want to peel from a corner. So once these feel pretty good, so we're just going to peel from one corner. Oh my goodness, that is so cute. That glitter is just so perfect. Okay, so we're going to peel. And now when you get done peeling this off, because we are layering, don't throw this away because you most likely will be using it again in a few minutes for a protective layer. And so then we're going to take this off of our green, again from one corner to the next. Oh, guys, I'm really loving these iron-on materials. This is the Easy Weed, and then this is the Sizer glitter, or Twinkle, Sizer Twinkle in Buttercup. Okay, so let's get our next colors. So what we want to do now is I think I want to put his nose on. And I want to put his feet on, and I want to put his little shirt on. But again, because my Easy Press is not, a massive size, I just want to do a couple at a time. So I'm going to actually take my scissors and trim away some of the excess of the backing material. And then I'm going to place his nose. Okay, and then I'm just going to take that protective sheet and cover his head back up. Okay, so now we will do that same process, and remember we're only heating this one, and so this is 315 degrees. So we're going to place it on top and do the 30 seconds, and then we will peel that off. We'll put on the shirt, do that section again using the protective layers, and then we'll do its feet, and then we will end with the butterfly and the flowers. Okay, so we have each of those in place. And we're going to put a protective cover on. Making sure that we don't shift our little applique, because even though they're sticky or will be sticky, they're not actually sticky to the touch right now, so they don't stay in place like your iron-on does. Okay, so now we have that there, and so we're going to apply heat. Okay, and then we put that back on the cradle. We're gonna let this cool a little. Okay, and so there we go, that final bag. Is that not so cute? So this was for the movie Springtime with Roo. So Winnie the Pooh, you just can't go wrong with Winnie the Pooh, right? Turned out so, so cute. If you guys want to hang out for another minute, I'll tell you what my favorite show is right now, and we will go through this quickly. I've already cut it out, and I will show you by weeding out what the design is. And if you don't know what this is, I am going to link it up down below so that you guys can hop down and check it out. I promise it is completely amazing, inspiring, and rated G. So you guys will want to have a look at that. It is really, really cool. Okay, so here we go. I'm actually watching this with my boys right now, and they told me how much they loved it as well. So if you want something great to watch with your family, this is it. And it's free. You don't have to have any kind of streaming service or anything to watch this. It's available on an app, and there is no cost whatsoever. You guys know what it is? Who knows what this is? I wish I was on live so you guys could guess as we go. I'm gonna have to get brave enough to try live someday very soon. The show is called The Chosen. and it is completely amazing. This is the story of Jesus, and it's through multiple seasons. And so right now I am just finishing the end of season 1, and I can't wait to start watching season 2. Actually, as a matter of fact, we may watch the first episode of season 2 tonight. The logo for the show is this beautiful aqua color, and so it's aqua and gray and white, and so I found this aqua shirt, and so then I could use the black that came in the heat transfer warehouse and the white. And so this logo actually is just super cool. You would have to see it in action. They have, this is not the logo. This is just a version that I created in Cricut Design Space because the logo itself is really, really neat. It's like a circular motion, and I'll put it up below, but basically it's like, you know, everybody's going this way, and then when you watch the show, individual fish, the fish start to, like one at a time, start to turn around, and there's 13 of them. So that is symbolic as well. But this is just the most amazing show. I hope you guys will give it a whirl. Check it out with your family. I personally adore it. I have been inspired by it and enjoy watching it. And it's a really good watch. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed learning how to layer iron on, how to layer HTV. I'm hoping that you guys learned something today, and I hope that you will give some of these beautiful materials a try. I really, really liked the Easy Weed as well as that Sparkle or Twinkle, I think it's what it's called, Twinkle Buttercup. So I'll post everything down below in the description so you guys can check all of those out. If you have any questions about what we did here today, please let me know, because I want you guys to craft with confidence and to enjoy all the things that you make. And I will see you guys next time.